shots. All right, so I was not too much gonna get into this, but I fuck with 50 a lot. I've never really fucked with Diddy like that. Never. Right from back in the day, I just thought he was corny. No bullshit. Always thought he was kind of corny. Excuse me, scratching the back of my head. I said I was gonna wash my hair, but I didn't yet, so I'm gonna wash it today. I'm gonna shape my hair up, you know what I'm saying? Get my little beard, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna shape it up. I'm gonna try to get nice. So when I do these videos, you know what I'm saying, I look nice. At least a little bit. Anyway, like my mama ring, this my mama ring. You know what I'm saying? But let's see what's up. I fuck with 50 though. I've always fucked with 50, from the music, the mixtapes, from Power to Dollar. Like always.
Success on both sides, but behind the scenes, tension was brewing. By 2003, both men were megastars in the rap game in their own rights. One interesting moment occurred when the two crossed paths on the 28th of August 2003, as Diddy ended up presenting the award for Best Rap Video at the MTV VMAs award show, with the winner being none other than 50 Cent for In the Club.
And the award for Best Rap Video goes to, come on, Playboy, 50 Cent.
And 50 Cent and Eminem would touch the stage, dapping up Diddy, seemingly on good vibes. However, that same year, something would happen that changed everything, because apparently one chance encounter between Diddy and 50 Cent had 50 feeling some type of way. Apparently in 2003, New York music executive Chris Lighty, who was close to both 50 and Diddy, held a star-studded wedding, where Lighty tied the knot with his wife Veronica. Both 50 and Diddy were in attendance, and 15 years later, whilst on an interview with The Breakfast Club, 50 revealed that Diddy had said something to him that made him uncomfortable.
He said something to me one time, a long time ago, at Chris Lighty's wedding. He told me to take me shopping. I looked at him like, what'd you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You're gonna make me mess up the wedding.
50 would also elaborate on this strange offer on his 2020 Drink Champs interview, when it was revealed that 50 and Diddy had been placed together on the same table at the wedding, and it was incredibly awkward.
He's like, I had 50, I think it's Freestyle and Puff at the same table. He said it was the most awkward shit ever, and that you was instigating some shit.
And it was at this point that Diddy made the strange comment, offering to take 50 Cent shopping and pay for everything.
Then Puff was like, yeah, like first he was amping him to get stout. Then he was like, yo, when we gonna get the chance to, to kick it, like we could just hang out. We gotta kick it. This is Puff. Okay. He's telling me we gotta kick it, and he's like, yo, why don't we like go shopping or some? I mean, like I pay for it. And I was like, fuck this just saying. I got the away from him because I was like, this is tell me he take me shopping.
Clearly, this comment had gotten on.
Yo, you do not tell another grown man that you're gonna take them shopping. You don't. You do not tell another grown man you're gonna take him shopping. Now, if you helping out the homeless, or you helping out, you know what I'm saying, something like that, you doing something nice with somebody, but you don't go buy another man pants. Not in a situation like that. Not even in a regular situation. If you helping out the homeless, that's different. But you do not go take another man shopping in this type of incidents. And the way that he probably offered it, I mean, I wasn't there, but I wouldn't accepted it. I'd have been like, no, I'm cool. Because it just depends. You got to look at tone of voice, body language, all these things. They matter. You know what I'm saying? We all remember when he was sitting there talking to Fab, like when he was talking, what did he say to Fab? When we gonna party? When we gonna party? We ain't never party together. Like, why are you so hyped to party with another man, bro? Like, I'm confused. You could just throw a party, or everybody show up and then everybody partying together. You want to party on the dolo. Now, again, I don't know either one of these men directly, but I've always leaned more to 50 Cent than I did Diddy. And Diddy was out before 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? I never really paid attention to Diddy because he was weird. He was always weird to me. And I ain't saying this because I'm a grown ass man. Like, I was listening to hip hop at some point when some of y'all motherfuckers wasn't even born. You know what I'm saying? When I graduated high school, some of y'all was being born. Damn. I mean, to y'all that may sound old. To me, I don't feel old or anything like that. But when I was graduating high school, some of y'all was just getting born.
Under 50's skin. It's unclear if this was a misinterpreted attempt at Diddy being friendly to 50, or a sign of disrespect trying to mock his fashion sense, or perhaps, even worse, a deeply disturbing attempt at mind games to put 50 Cent in a subordinate position.
Let me get out of no, dude, take me. That's what a guy says to a girl. Don't do make like it's just me, man. Why do you do some like a little fluffy stuff
Now
going
you guys
on?
Regardless of the intent, 50 was troubled by the way that Diddy was behaving at the wedding, and from 2003 onward, he would continue
Who
making
hand
subtle
is
jabs
that?
at Diddy and his music, such as the slick line on the November 4th, 2003 G-Unit track, Poppin' Them Thangs, where 50 joked about the time Diddy assaulted label executive Steve Stout. Luckily, the charges were dropped, and the two were back friends. They'd seemingly spent time on good terms, for example being pictured together at showbiz events in 2004. But this would all change in 2006, when 50 Cent was gearing up to release his mixtape, G-Unit Radio 22, Hip Hop is Dead. As before the release of this tape, 50 had been attempting to sign former Bad Boy Records star Mace to his G-Unit collective and label. They became close, with Mace even appearing in the music video to 50's hit song Window Shopper, which dropped in November 2005, perhaps sending a sign to the world that he had been window shopping for a new record deal. Funnily enough, there's a much deeper meaning to this, as it later emerged that 50 was offended and creeped out when Diddy offered to take him shopping, and in the music video, 50 had seemingly done the exact same thing, taking Mace out for a shopping spree. Interestingly, if you look deeply at 50's lyrics in the song, there's clearly numerous jabs at Diddy that wouldn't even make sense until over 20 years later. In the hook, 50 aims open-ended bars at an unnamed hater, saying that they're mad at him and he knows why, and claiming that somebody is mad when they see him drive by, calling out an unnamed op for screw-facing him but not having the heart to diss him, seemingly hinting at Diddy potentially failing to re-sign Mace, rapping, "Why you mad at 50 when you effed up your own re-up?" and using a double entendre to say something is about to get stolen, a possible reference to Mace being poached by 50 Cent's label. But even deeper, the song has bars which I personally think hint towards some of the sexual depravity Diddy was exposed for 20 years later, such as 50 opening the track saying the top feels so much better than the bottom. And if you think I'm reaching, even Charlemagne in 2018 brought this line up when 50 told him Diddy had offered to take him shopping.
But you've been getting at us over a decade. I remember when you said the top feels so much better than the bottom.
Yeah, I've been saying this.
50 also made reference to freak offs, which would later be mentioned in a big indictment against Diddy, and a remix of the song featuring Mace would later release as part of 50's mixtape, G-Unit Radio Part 16, as well as his Bulletproof video game soundtrack. Cameron would later question Mace on what on earth he was doing out shopping with 50 in the music video in a hilarious 2023 podcast.
In 50 Cent's video, Window Shopping, what was your role exactly in that?
What was my role?
I took you shopping. They said he scooped you and took you shopping in the video. That's what they told me. I didn't see the video. I don't know. I'm just relaxing.
I'm gonna let you in.
This video caused issue between 50 and Diddy, as Mace was always a bad boy artist and was almost seen as Diddy's right-hand man. But ultimately, Mace was disgruntled with his deal and had made it public, with one article quoting him as saying even Diddy knew he wanted to leave the label.
That's
in fact,
crazy.
this MTV article seemed to portray the signing as a
He had him in a video. It took him shopping. I gotta watch that video again. That's funny as hell. Cause that was like a reference of like you tried to take me shopping, but now I got Mace, cause Mace knows it's better over here than being over there with you, cause you taking advantage of the nigga. You ain't paying him the money that he deserves. Cause Mace is a world class artist, yo. Like niggas can't hate on Mace and Betha, but he was crushing this shit. It's about to make me go back and listen to. Y'all know that joke. Y'all know that joke. Y'all know that joke. That joke goes so hard. Killer. Y'all know that joke. I promise you, y'all know that joke. And if y'all do know that joke, then y'all true. Y'all true to the game. Y'all, but you don't know that joke.
a done deal, sporting a headline claiming that even Diddy was in favor of the deal, with quotes from Mace suggesting that he had pretty much decided that joining G-Unit was a done deal. Interestingly, the article suggested that Diddy and Mace had already discussed their contract buyout, and that Diddy had told the news with a grin that he's certain that 50 Cent has the money to buy Mace out of his deal. However, things weren't as sorted as they seemed, with 50 claiming in a 2014 Funk Flex interview on Hot 97 that Diddy did some sucker stuff over this deal.
Nah, ever since Mace, you've always had a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, he did some sucker.
You always had a bad taste in your mouth.
He was a sucker on the Mace project because he know what he did.
50 would recount a run-in at the Nobu restaurant with Diddy, claiming that Diddy told him it was all good, and he was just waiting for 50 to take care of the finances to release Mace from his deal.
But then we was in Nobu, me, him, and Jimmy sitting there, right? He was at the table having dinner with some other people, and he came over. Yo, Playboy, yo, I thought, you know how we going to Tiffany Co. right now. We pick up something, they ain't going to say nothing. They're going to send us an invoice later. They're going to let us walk out. That's what I thought you was doing with Mace. Mace, I thought you was taking him on tour. When you come back, you're going to take care of me. I said, oh, it ain't nothing, so I just waiting for you to take care of me.
Interestingly, he also said that Diddy muddied the waters between 50 Cent and Jimmy Iovine, who 50 was in Nobu to have a meeting with about negotiating the deal for G-Unit artist The Game's next album, with Diddy apparently making a too good to be true offer for Mace, saying that he would give him the money to sign him and complete the album, and that 50 and Jimmy could keep the profits once Diddy had recouped from Mace's deal. Not only a too good to be true offer, but it also put 50 in a tough spot with Jimmy, who was there to work out the G-Unit deal on The Game's next album.
When Jimmy gets all antsy, because right now he don't know we having a meeting to talk about him actually going, it's time to sell the Game album again, so he's trying to figure out how to have this conversation with me. I've never heard a person say this to me ever again in my career. He says, okay, look, you guys, make the deal. Like, look, I'll give up my profit.
But you felt good about that.
Yeah, make the project, and after we recoup the money that we spent, take the profits. Man, Mace might not even get a chance to write all of the record. I'm trying to write the record for him. Super good deal. Never, ever again.
And you kind of feel Diddy made the deal hard.
Yeah, like after he just said something that I'm never going to hear from my career ever again.
In this interview, 50 would then reveal that later, Diddy eventually told him that he was really expecting a whopping $2 million to release Mace from his contract, with 50 famously saying that Mace wasn't worth $2 million with $2 million in his pocket, and that he'd have paid $1 million max.
Was there a number talked about?
Yeah, I was like, what you looking for that? He said $2 million. I'm like, Mace ain't worth $2 million with $2 million in his pocket. You crazy? It was $1 million over what that was supposed to be. He could have got $1 million.
50 even said he felt like Diddy was trying to take advantage of him because he knew he was new to the game and that he had $2 million after the success of Get Rich or Die Trying.
He was trying to do that. You knew, like, let me get that. The $2 million.
You knew and you got it. Give it to me.
Yeah, give it to me. I'm like, man, you gotta be crazy, man.
This $2 million offer was far beyond what Mace was worth and pretty much a go F yourself offer. Diddy was pretending to be serious about letting 50 sign Mace, basically to waste his time and money. As Mace explained later, Diddy essentially blocked the deal from going through.
G-Unit was somewhat a deal that you guys tried to make happen. What went wrong with that deal?
You want the honest answer?
That's what
we're on here for. You know why it didn't go through. Diddy didn't let it go through. That's the reason it didn't go through. He wanted 50 to give him all of the money he thought I owed him. And I thought he owed me money, so that was always the underlining battle, the invisible battle. So then when I said I wanted to go with G-Unit, he was trying to get all of the money back from 50 Cent. 50 Cent is a street guy. He's not going to pay that, So then you run into issues. So when Puff, he just kept saying he wanted $2 million, then he wanted $3 million, and he was just trying to make it where we wouldn't have a budget if you give him all the money. You know how Puff is. You're going to cut your arm off to get free.
Okay.
So if you get free, you're going to have an invisible leg.
That's wild as hell. Why would, well, I ain't going to say why, but you trying to take advantage of the artist in the early stages of his career because you know he just made the money off of his first album or whatever like that. But you already in the mix and you could let this person go, so you just being spiteful. You actually just being a bitch. That's being lame. You ain't really trying to do nothing with Mace. You just trying to hold him up like you was holding other people up, apparently. 50 trying to open up the door and be like, fuck it, open up the door. I know Mace gonna go do something and he can bubble. He trying to do that. And it's so wild how they'd be like, oh, this demographic is holding people back. When you look, you got a black man holding a black man back and then trying to take from another one. How does that make sense? You're trying to rob one and then hold one up all at the same time. So then you could feel like you got the power of some sort. When in reality, in the deal, you don't have the power. Like Mace is a dope artist. 50 is a dope artist. Apparently he's a great businessman. And you trying to hold that up and he ain't having freak offs and doing weird shit.
It was a furious head-to-head and a deep situation when you think about it. 50 came up as a rapper and reached the top of the game before trying his hand at business and the executive positions. Meanwhile, Diddy had somehow managed to climb the greasy pole as an executive with handy deals made behind the scenes that propelled him to the top of the boardroom.
With robbery behind the scenes, making money and not paying the people who he was supposed to pay. Now, kind of question is like, why wasn't these people getting upfront money? Like, why wasn't these people getting upfront money? Like, yo, you want me to do this? I'll do it, but I need $200,000 up front because I know this is gonna make millions. And then when the back end come, you give me my cut off the back end, but up front you gonna give me some. If not, and then why ain't nobody just punched this nigga in the face? Like, how did he make it through the 90s? How did he make it through the early 2000s without somebody truly putting their hands on him? Like, what made him that? I don't even know. Like, I guess niggas was just looking at it. He ain't really worth the physical. You know what I mean? He ain't really worth it. He tried that shit with people, but he ain't really worth it. And then him doing certain things, he's willing to do certain things. Like they talked about the joint when he popped off on somebody in the bathroom, but it's like at the same time, it's like, bro, I don't understand how you made it through the 90s without getting hands put on you. Like bing bow boom, like a broken jaw, ribs, something like. You know what I'm saying? And like you in the feds now. I mean, ain't nobody really gonna touch you in there. Like, but in reality, it's like how you. I missed old hip hop, yo. Cause back then, you think about it, like a group like Wu Tang, you ain't trying none of that with the Wu. Cause hands and feet, hands and feet, hands and feet. And I ain't saying 50 wouldn't have, you know what I'm saying, got busy. But it's like 50 probably seen the game he was playing. He was like, all right, as long as you don't cross no lines. And Diddy wasn't really trying to cross too many lines with the wrong people. Like he'll cross lines with people, but it was like people who needed him or people who he could take advantage of. But it's like anybody who would have been willing to be like, you know what? I'll go to jail for this. I ain't gonna doing dirty, like just doing dirty. So then that go out into the world. They see him getting stomped the fuck out.
As a label executive, with Diddy using his industry clout and the help of actually talented writers like 50 to eventually make himself a famous rapper too. Now 50, a successful artist,
he did
was
right
trying
for
to
him.
poach one of the most famous artists who had helped Diddy make a name for himself. This would represent a serious challenge for dominance in the back rooms of the rap industry and set the stage for an intense beef that would unfold for years to come. 50 Cent would escalate the beef to new heights when he dropped his P. Diddy diss track, The Bomb, aka Hip Hop, ahead of that mixtape's release. Articles began to circulate at the end of August 2006 saying 50 Cent just dropped the bomb on Diddy. The song itself was a remix of Dead Prez's classic track Hip Hop with one of the most iconic beats in the history of rap. On the track, 50 rapped that Diddy knew who killed Biggie and that he was scared of the boys who did it from the West Side. The song had a boastful hook where he claimed that him and his G-Unit crew run hip hop in its entirety, not Diddy. 50 would also rant at Diddy on the outro with a long tirade that dissed Diddy into another dimension. He mocked Diddy's party, saying that he won't be getting invited to the white party in the Hamptons after this diss, but 50 doesn't want to come to the white parties anyway, and he doesn't want to hang out with Diddy's punk. He'd then move on to rant about Diddy blocking him signing Mace, saying that he doesn't even want Mace anymore, going on to say that Diddy and Mace wasted his time on purpose and that Diddy should reimburse him $50,000 in travel fees for flying around the world trying to help Mace. He'd even claimed that somebody told him something about Diddy that he could easily expose. Now, this song caused a huge splash when it was released, but funnily enough, in recent months, since the FBI's raids on Diddy's properties, it's actually had a resurgence, with YouTube commenters joking that the feds must have been spinning this song during the raid. It seemed that following this, rather than outright beef, 50 Cent opted to kill his enemies with success, and going into 2007 in August, when the Forbes Hip Hop Cash Kings list was announced, 50 Cent had actually overtaken Diddy, ranking number 2 behind Jay-Z, with Diddy in 3rd place as the top 3 earning rappers. However, it may well have been the case that 50 was actually the number 1 spot secretly, as the deal for Coca-Cola to buy vitamin water, which 50 Cent invested in early, was only announced a little more than a week before this list went public. And since 50 was set to make a rumored 9-figure sum from the deal, he may well have been number 1 by a landslide, but the numbers weren't actually known yet. Now go check my vintage video on that topic if you want to know the whole story. But clearly, there was a lot of competition between the top earners in hip-hop, and interestingly, all of them were New Yorkers. Funnily enough, despite their bitter rivalries, less than a week later, all 3 of these rich rappers would end up having a dramatic run-in with each other. On August 22nd, 2007, T.I. and Ciara's Screamfest tour would go to Madison Square Garden in New York, and at the show, there would be a surprise performance by T.I., Jay-Z, Kanye West, 50 Cent, and Diddy. This was a wild moment and included some strange things, because when Jay-Z realized 50 Cent had walked onto the stage, it seemed like a frosty introduction, and there was a little tension between them.
We got, hey.
You can get down. You can get down. It's all good.
This a real special moment, ain't it?
Come on, you can get something.
This a real special moment. Uncle Diddy in the motherfucking house. 50 had to come back out and make my show hot. I so appreciate it. Hey, 50, I'm glad you up here, because you can share my enthusiasm. Yeah.
Some have suggested that this was completely unplanned and that 50 Cent actually invaded the stage and strong-armed the others into letting him stay, asserting his dominance as the king of New York rap, with it being suggested that Jay's introduction showed him he was rattled and didn't have a choice but to let 50 stay on the stage.
We got, hey.
You can get down. You can get down. It's all good.
This a real special moment, ain't it?
Come on, you can get something.
This a real special moment.
During Kanye's performance of Can't Tell Me Nothing, Diddy and 50 would be seen running around the stage separately, and all five would stand side by side on the stage in a legendary moment that sent the fans wild. But quite a few weird things played out in the dynamics between these frenemies of rap royalty during this performance. 50 would begin hilariously counting a large wad of money on stage, and 50 and Diddy would then seem to walk towards each other for a moment before the camera cut back to T.I. At one point, Diddy seems to be creeping up behind 50 with 50's head on a swivel and watching out for Diddy approaching him, and perhaps for good reason, because this is where Diddy famously spanked Jay-Z's bottom in front of the whole.
Yeah, that was wild. You don't do no type of shit like that to another man on stage. Why is you doing that? That's some weirdo shit. Why you smacking another man's ass? 50 did right. Dip and dodge, because if you did that, he probably would have got punched all in this shit. He should have got punched all in this shit. But why would you do that to another man? And Jay ain't do nothing but stood there.
Crowd in a bizarre play of power. Now, I'll be honest, having watched this closely, it seems that 50 continually keeps his distance from Diddy, with Diddy seemingly keeping eyes on 50 and often trying to get closer to him. At one point, 50 is actually distracted by the crowd, and Diddy does a complete 360 turn and keeps eyes on 50's rear. But then, right at the end, Diddy actually runs in with his arm around Ye and throws his arm around 50 Cent, with 50 visibly pulling back from Diddy's embrace and quickly shaking him loose. Right at the end, the two would face off for a tense moment, where to me, 50 looks like he's mean-mugging Diddy slightly. It was an insane moment and wild timing, all happening just a week after all of these artists fought it out to decide who would be the hip-hop's top moneymaker in Forbes magazine. But perhaps this event, or the fact that they were all getting money, brought them together, as not long after that event, the remix to 50 Cent's smash hit I Get Money drops, which is called the Forbes $123 billion remix, featuring both P. Diddy and Jay-Z dropping verses on 50's hit song. Interestingly, at the time, Jay-Z claimed that 50 actually wanted to get him and Diddy on his remix, which showed the world there was no longer hate between them. The remix itself didn't feature any shade by 50 and was mainly just braggadocious bars. However, in Diddy's verse, he dropped many questionable lyrics that today would have anyone giving the side-eye. Ironically, he started his verse ending the first three lines with the phrase, "Diddy did it," and the fourth by saying his lawyer is so good that Diddy got acquitted. For now, it seemed that Diddy and 50 had actually become friends, or at least neutral for the time being. However, in a 2008 MTV interview backstage, Diddy and 50 had a play fight after 50 crashed a Diddy interview to promote his new reality show.
Broaden everybody's horizon. Yeah, definitely. I was looking for you. I told you, get your hand out of my pocket, man. Get your hand out of my pocket. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing on the channel. Get your hand out of my pocket, man. Look at me when I'm talking to you. I see, yo. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing, man. I see what you're doing. Nah, look at me, man. I see what you're doing, man. Yeah, you gonna make me. Okay, I'm telling y'all right now. When I want to work for Diddy, I'm gonna physically put my hands on somebody for the rating because he's not gonna outdo me. I'm gonna physically. I'm gonna go to Central Book. Yeah. I'm used to it. I know what it is. But get your hand out my pocket. Get off my channel, boy. I love this show. Though.
You got the brand new show. Have you seen it?
He hurt because 50 was literally, and he knew it.
Yeah, I love this show.
Donald Trump's seen it as well.
Yeah. Donald Trump said my show is a knockoff of The Apprentice. I said, what's the matter with Donald? I mean, he got a little age on him. You can see. To me, be honest, it felt a little. I want to work for Diddy inspired to me though. Yeah, but you know what? Listen, this is what I gotta do it, right? And these are my friends. What the guys that really don't like me, that's who you need to talk to. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? I love this show though, for real. I think it's important, like when you see your friend getting into a new era and a new game, it's important if they do the right thing and they do it the right way. My man did his show the right way. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I love this show.
It seemed that while friendly, the two were still on thin ice, and soon the tension would be rising. Diddy and 50 appeared together again when 50 Cent became embroiled in a deep beef with Rick Ross. Now go check my vintage video on that if you don't know the story. But during the beef, 50 made several incredibly disrespectful vlogs and videos trolling Rick Ross, including one where he invited Rick Ross's son and his mother to Floyd Mayweather's mansion in Las Vegas, with an arguably uncomfortable looking Diddy appearing in the background for parts of the video. At one point, Diddy and 50 seem to be having a friendly conversation, and they go on to eat candy and chat with Floyd and film director Gary Gray for a while. This was surprising, as it seemed that Rick Ross and Diddy actually had a good relationship, but it's entirely possible that Diddy's presence there was completely unplanned. In fact, in the coming months and years, it would emerge that clearly Diddy was much closer to Rick Ross than 50 Cent on a personal level, as Rick Ross would later appear on the 2010 remix to Diddy's Dirty Money Crew's track Angels. And a few months later, in April 2010, it would be announced that Diddy had become Rick Ross's official manager, with Rick Ross later claiming in an interview that their relationship is much deeper than just rap, and later announcing that they were recording a joint project together under the name Bugatti Boys, and releasing the track Another One. Unfortunately, as Rick Ross's beef with 50 Cent ended up getting extremely raw and personal, no doubt 50 began seeing Diddy and Ricky in the same batch as certified ops. But in the years that followed, there was less personal back and forth between Diddy and 50. Perhaps 50 knew how terminal Diddy's decline would eventually be. He seemed to keep a safe distance from hip-hop supervillain, but eventually, just like the situation with Mace, the beef between Diddy and 50 would be reignited once again, with the war playing out this time in the business boardrooms rather than in disses in songs.
That's crazy. I don't want to go too deep. We already at 25 minutes and I haven't even talked that much. But I see it's a lot more reasons that 50 would have to want to punch him in his face than to put out a documentary. But all at the same time, it's like, why not put out the documentary? Right? Why not? And I think 50's reasoning for putting out the documentary from what he said about like how many people in hip hop is going to actually be vocal about it. That's true. People gonna sit back and be like, yo, this man, da 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 da. Man, Diddy done did more shit than what you think he did. Some people just looking at what he getting charged with at the given moment, or what he got charged with at the given moment, but they not looking at how he affected a whole bunch of stuff. Like some of these people, they had love for Pac. If Diddy had something to do with Pac getting shot, that's crazy. Like that don't change how you know what I'm saying, how you view this motherfucker. If it comes to find out that any of this stuff has happened, which all of it's alleged, right? True. But if it comes out to say that he had something to do with Pac, he had something to do with Biggie, or any kind of like weird shit towards in the hip hop game, how y'all gonna look at him then? Is y'all still gonna be like, oh no, another black man, da 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 da, or y'all gonna really look at it for who he is and how he is? Because to me, it seemed like he don't really care. Like I don't think he cares about ethnicity, but the main ethnicity that he was taking advantage of. Look at Shine, G Dep, Mark Curry, if I'm saying his name right. Look at these people, right? The band, making the band, the Dirty Money Girls. Any of these people, like, look at how he treated them. Look at how things went down. People, a lot of them motherfuckers say, like, I ain't get my money for this. I ain't get my money for that. I ain't get this. I ain't get that. And it's like, damn. So you mean to tell me you had these people do stuff for you, work for you, be a part of your label, and Shine did 10 years. Now, maybe Shine did pull out a gun. I wasn't there. I don't know. Maybe he did pull out a gun. Maybe he did bust a shot. Don't know. But regardless of anything, what did he say? He said it seemed like the lawyers was trying to railroad him to make Diddy look good. What does that tell you? Like, what did that to tell you something right there? Like, I don't know. I'm gonna leave it at that because this is at 27 minutes. I don't really want to go too hard, even though I do. Hold on, let me get a little bit more. Let me get a little bit more.
While Diddy made his name in the record business, heading up Bad Boy Records with the booming success of the notorious B.I.G., and after Biggie's untimely and suspect death, eventually making a name for himself as a rapper, but Diddy's career as a moneymaker went far beyond just the rap music industry. He famously founded clothing brand Sean John, which generated hundreds of millions of dollars, and a company that he eventually sold pieces of for top dollar. But Diddy's next famous power play in the business world was becoming the spokesperson for Ciroc, an alcoholic beverage made of grapes, marketed as vodka, but not necessarily actually vodka. Something that Diddy seemed to suggest was an asset rather than a finesse, claiming that only peasants drink actual vodka made from potatoes.
Blue Dot Ciroc. It's made with grapes, not potatoes. It's the smoothest thing out there. It's better than that gray PP. Put that geese down, ho, we Ciroc boys. Would you rather drink potatoes or grapes? I'm a king. Kings drink grapes. Queens drink grapes. We don't drink potatoes, okay? Peasants drink potatoes, okay?
The grape-derived party drink eventually came in a variety of fruity flavors that matched Diddy's various personalities perfectly. Interestingly, the brand was launched back in 2003, and one of the first...
Hey, yo, yo, how you taking shots? You taking shots? Taking shots.
celebrities used to market the product was NFL player Earl Little. I know very little about him. It doesn't seem like he really got the brand popping. The brand Ciroc would truly catapult itself into the hip-hop world in 2007 when they started working with Jay-Z and eventually Diddy, who began pushing the brand hard after signing an alleged $100 million deal with the brand, announcing the partnership in a glossy press conference where Diddy claimed that this partnership with Ciroc would revolutionize the spirits industry forever.
Ciroc Vodka is entering into a groundbreaking strategic alliance with Sean Combs. Sean Combs and Ciroc Vodka.
This is history because this is not an endorsement deal. This is not a co-branding deal. I'm going to be taking the lead on the marketing, the advertising, the brand building, where it's sold, how it's sold, and I'm very excited about building a luxury brand. My alliance with Diageo is something that will revolutionize the spirits industry forever.
And it certainly revolutionized Diddy's pockets forever, with it emerging that Diddy was in charge of all marketing for the Ciroc brand in a big money deal that would see Diddy sharing 50% of the profits. Over the following 6 years or so, Diddy would shamelessly plug this drink at every opportunity, in glossy TV ads depicting Diddy partying in high class with Ciroc as his drink of choice, to 3-minute commercial movies where Diddy would hold the Ciroc smooth off and refer to himself as Ciroc Obama. He would hold star-studded Ciroc parties attended by the biggest rappers of the era, and he would famously ring in the new year after year with his Ciroc the New Year campaign and yearly parties.
We are here live behind the scenes putting the party together. Y'all have heard about the world famous party. Many have asked, but few are chosen. It is an exclusive event happening at the Combs Estate tonight.
And soon Ciroc would be an inescapable part of every single Diddy party, some of which were inescapable. But at the time, the Ciroc branding's association with the Diddy parties was brilliant. By 2013, Ciroc was making and spending so much money on their ads, they were looking like full-blown Hollywood movies with star-studded casts of A-list actors. This one ad alone included appearances from Matt Goss, Diddy, Frank Vincent, Jesse Williams, Chad Michael Murray, Michael K. Williams, Christopher Jones, and Aaron Paul. And in a 2013 interview, Diddy spoke on his business ambitions in a sit-down which declared his business empire worth a whopping $345 million, with Diddy claiming that he wanted to produce the music you hear, the clothes you wear, the alcohol you drink, with Martin Bashir seemingly spotting Diddy's insane megalomania all the way back then.
His bad boy business empire, with Diddy at the center, is now worth an estimated $345 million.
Damn.
He calls himself the Black James Bond, neither shaken nor stirred, but always selling.
Is there anything you would not promote? How about Diddy dog food?
No, I wouldn't do Diddy dog food. I was going to make the clothes that you would get dressed in, the fragrance you would put on, to listen to the music that I produced, to buy the vodka that was in the club.
Some people might think that's a form of megalomania. That you would think that. A form of megalomania.
Oh, it could be.
By 2014, Diddy had truly taken his Ciroc brand to the top of...
Never heard that word in my life, I don't think. Megalomania? I mean, if you want to control the party, the whole party, then I don't think that's a problem. If you want people to come in with your clothes on, drink the liquor that you know what I'm saying, put out there, advertise, eat the food, wear the fragrance, the shoes. I don't think it's a bad thing. Just trying to get to the dollar, but look into the eyes. Look into the eyes.
The game. But naturally, if one person is making a bag in business, it doesn't take long for new competitors to try and get into the market. And perhaps unsurprisingly, once again, Diddy's latest corporate op would be none other than 50 Cent himself. Now, in the years following the Rick Ross beef, while Diddy was building the Ciroc brand, the beef between Diddy and 50 got relatively quiet. That's not to say that there weren't the usual characteristic jabs from 50, with shots being sent Diddy's way here and there. The summer of 2010 would actually see 50 Cent going on a Diddy hate press run of sorts. He would do back-to-back interviews where he dropped maximum shade on Diddy. On June the 10th, 50 would be on a Boston radio show called Jammin' 94.5, where he called in to say Diddy's music sucks and that he's a bloodsucker, as well as saying Diddy shouldn't say that Rick Ross reminds him of Biggie Smalls.
I was online, man, and I was reading you're not a big Puffy fan these days.
Well, you know what? His music sucks.
Don't be blunt, 50. Tell us what's on your mind.
No, it's bad. It's bad.
What is it you don't like about Puffy's music right now?
He's not an artist anyway, so
that's true.
It doesn't really matter. Like if you think about it, is he a rapper?
No.
Because he said he don't write rhymes, he writes text.
That's right. So you're not buying Puffy's CD when it comes out at all, huh?
Nobody's buying it. He even said himself he don't expect it to sell. Like he's okay, just He just uses it as a promotional tool. Like, and standing next to these fools is his promotional tool, too. Like, how does Rick Ross remind you of Biggie? Any Biggie fan objects to that.
True.
Yeah. He's close to him. So
True.
how can he say that? Like, he says that.
Ross was never
Because
big
he's fat in
Biggie.
his eyes. That's what you think makes you remind you of Biggie? Like, you know, it's almost like he's trying to recreate what he had. It's like he's senile.
Yeah.
Now you get older, things start feeling crazy. You think he's recreating that moment. But tell the truth, man. You know Puffy just suck, man. Look, he's the serpent. He's going to suck the blood out of him.
He's one hell of a businessman.
Yeah, but what he does is suck the blood out of the artist. What artist exists after the interaction with him?
A week later,
Yo, he is not telling no lies. What artist actually survived after Diddy?
in a diss towards 50, Diddy announced that he was renaming his supergroup to the Supreme Team, the same name as the gang who shot 50. Then, on June the 24th, 2010, during another interview, 50 spoke on Diddy and said despite having music out, he wouldn't class Diddy as an actual artist because he doesn't write any of his music, suggesting that he's more in the business of making music rather than actual art.
You know what's interesting? He's not an artist.
He has albums.
Yeah, but he's not an artist. See, an artist would be someone who actually wrote something maybe on the record. Imagine if I just sat around and listened to people's CDs and said, I'm just going to say the first verse that I hear that sounds good. That would completely take away the pressure, and I'd still be the artist in front of you with a new song every 2 minutes, because every artist that has a song that would like to make some money off it would send it. What I thought was a part of the culture, what made hip-hop culture exciting to me, was each person's individual experience. How you learn to enjoy them as an individual and their portion of their life, carving out that piece. When that's not there because they're just being executive, like you say, you don't write rhymes, you write checks, that's not hot. Like for hip-hop, it's not.
Now, Diddy would actually
very
clap back
true.
at 50 in a speech made at the BET Awards after party in
You're an
June
artist, you're
2010,
supposed to
where he
create.
told people to stop hating, saying that hate is for suckers, without actually naming 50 directly.
Diddy wasn't creating. Diddy was paying for things. Well, technically, he wasn't paying for things because he wasn't paying people. But he was not a person who sat down, wrote the lyrics, went through stuff. Nah, he was having other people create it, and he just used it. So he was like an R&B singer that had writers, basically.
Directly, but calling him a crab. Naturally,
But he ain't
50
even
would
had a
continue
voice.
smack-talking Diddy in response to these jabs. In July 2010, 50 would question Diddy's intentions in the art of hip-hop again after Diddy appeared on the song The Ghost of Christopher Wallace with Jay Electronica, another tribute to Diddy's fallen friend and artist Biggie Smalls, and it had 50 feeling some type of way. He would let the public know that he didn't appreciate Diddy for using Biggie's name for clout and money, tweeting, "Enough is enough. Biggie's name should have never become Diddy's black card. Let Diddy know to let B.I.G. rest in peace. When was the last time Diddy really was bigging up his brother, not bigging up his bank?" 50 would actually start a Twitter petition trying to ban Diddy from using Biggie's name going forward. And around the same time as this, in August or July, another interview would drop where 50 Cent hopped on the radio with DJ Who Kid on Shade 45. And here, 50 would be asked about the comments that Diddy made at the BET Awards after party, with 50 responding calling Puffy a bitch and suggesting that he simply wants attention from men.
So the after party, do you think that Diddy was coming at you though?
Really interesting because, you know, Puffy's like a to describe Puffy in one word is a see, you know how ugly always got like pretty friends?
Yeah, I know
That's
what
how
you
he built his group. He want to be the hot in the group. He'll make sure he getting all the attention.
Yep, they get the dudes hollering at them. Everything is that the pretty bitch with the ugly girl.
He want to make sure that niggas want to holler at him. If he'll tell you himself what happened in Miami, stay in Miami.
They would even for a moment bring up the fact that Diddy was forming a group called the Supreme Team, with 50 saying Puffy should know better.
He did change the name though. He did change. Well, he changed to Dream Team, Supreme Team.
Better than to do that shit.
So where did it go wrong though? Because I know y'all was cool. Like where did it turn wrong?
I don't know what made him name that group that. That's what made me
Supreme
think.
Team. Oh, okay, Supreme Team. And then it was like, yo, why you why?
50 would then go on to say that he spoke to Diddy on the phone after the Mace situation, saying that Diddy had a new girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, with 50 saying he'd been sent compromising pictures of her.
Yeah, I remember
to
seeing
his
hearing that
website,
shit.
thisis50.com.
Seeing it.
Now, what he
Everybody
was
seen
sent were tapes that would allegedly later be described as one of Diddy's freak-off videos.
Then Puff, like he called, we used to kick it on the telephone after the Mace. Matter of fact, they sent me the girl pictures, like pictures of this girl, like not the shit that y'all saw. Worse, way worse.
Wow. Are you kidding me up?
Like penetration pictures and
Nah, come on, man. Come on, Phil.
And when 50 says in the interview, not the stuff that you saw, it's way worse, he was referring to leaked topless pictures of Cassie that had circulated in mid-2009, with them eventually being taken down for a pretty interesting reason, with one Hollywood gossip blog explaining that the topless pictures of Cassie were taken down due to a claim from Bad Boy Records, on the basis that they had bought the photos and had exclusive rights over
That's
them.
crazy.
Interestingly, this 50 Cent interview was the following year, months after the rumors had circulated on Twitter that Cassie's even more compromising clips had been leaked, and the following year in 2011, Media Takeout would report that they had been contacted by somebody claiming to have an explicit tape that starred both Diddy and Cassie together, with an explicit photo of themselves together also getting shared online around this time. But anyway, 50 would go on explaining that after he was sent the alleged freak-off video through his website, he actually called Diddy to ask him if Cassie was really his girlfriend.
Say, yo, you with this girl? Like, you really, like, you like her like that? And he was like, yeah, that's my girl. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna send you something. You look at it, you call me back.
50 said that it was after this confirmation from Diddy that Cassie was indeed his real girlfriend that he sent Diddy the clips, but he was surprised when Diddy called him back and said thank you for the video.
I sent him the photos, the pictures and everything, and the nigga called back and was like, yo, thanks, man, yo, I really appreciate that.
Diddy would go on to quiz 50, asking him where did you get these from, with 50 reminding everybody that usually when he gets sent something, it's getting posted online.
I sent him the photos, the pictures and everything, and the nigga called back and was like, yo, thanks, man, yo, I really appreciate that. Yo, where you get these from? And I said, you know, like, because they know, like, if something crazy is going on, if they send it to me, I'll make sure it get out there. Like, as far as this 50.com is concerned.
Yeah, yep. And then 50 would go on to drop a bombshell, explaining that because of the way Diddy reacted, he realized that these pictures and videos weren't being made because Cassie wanted them, but because actually Diddy wanted them. Even saying cryptically that Puffy likes to take advantage of all the suckers.
You know, I really kind of felt like those photographs was not happening because of Cassie. I felt like they was happening because of Puffy. A girl moved away from a man, and she upgraded to be insecure. You know what I'm saying? They start feeling some kind of way, especially like whoever the guy where she was with in the photos versus where Puffy's at. Because Puffy's, he ain't no slouch. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he's been able to take advantage of all the suckers.
This was a bombshell interview, but it didn't really pick up.
That's crazy. He been able to take advantage of mad people, but he the top sucker. Like, he the top sucker. Like, I don't know. If I was to pick a side, like I said, I always had more interest in 50 music. Diddy was just like an executive trying to be in everything and do everything that an artist do. This shit crazy. I'm still gonna post this, John, though, but it's like this shit crazy because like it's like a deep dive into it. Like, so shout out to Trap Raw. That's it. Chap, whatever. You know who you is. I just call you TL. Shout out to TL for this joint. I ain't subscribed to this YouTube page. I'm not gonna subscribe to this YouTube page because I think I'm subscribed to your main joint anyway. But this shit lame, bro. I don't know. I think they should have, like, you know how they say, like, Mike Tyson would say, like, you don't know what you're gonna do till you get punched in the face. Somebody should have punched him in his face. Ain't nobody punched him in his face. And in reality, we don't even know if he's gonna take this as being punched in the face. You just never know.